how do we recognize when the universe is sending us those messages? You're a natural intuit, natural psychic abilities, and I don't know if does everyone have those? Are they latent? Are they?
I think we all have them, just like we all could possibly play the piano. I certainly can play it if I were.
I don't know if I could play it.
Well, this is the difference. We can play it if we really set about doing it. My wife, she started playing the piano at the age of 4. And when I met her, she would just sit there, and the most beautiful magic tunes would come out of that piano. However, me, all I can do to play the piano is use one finger, just one finger. And so if I wanted to really learn to play it, I've got to do a few things. I've got to take action. I've got to take some lessons. I've got to commit myself to learning it. Very interesting thing happened with me once. I've told you of my friend Bill Carter, the one in Nashville who...
former Secret Service agent for
Kennedy and Johnson, and who got a lot of major stars going, like Reba McEntire, Rodney Crowell, and all the others. One day, through him, I met many of these stars, and I met one of them who came up to me and said, "Oh my gosh, John, how could you write such a book like When You Can Walk on Water, Take the Boat? It is magical. That is so wonderful. I wish I could do that. I never could do that." And I kept thinking that I've got a whole bunch of this guy's albums. I love his stuff. I can't play one note on the guitar. So I turned to him and I said, my friend, how can you play such beautiful music? For me, that's magic. It is so interesting. So here it is. Some of us do have a tendency. He had a tendency towards playing the guitar and singing, and he built on it. He practiced, and he worked at it, and he became a fantastic singer. I had a tendency to always want to express myself, and I ended up being a writer of best-selling books. My wife always wanted to express herself through music, so she became a top pianist, won so many awards. Now, I couldn't do it exactly the way she did, but I could play using my one finger a lovely tune that I like. So we all have the psychic abilities within us. There actually is sixth sense. Animals have them far more developed than we do, but we don't tend to do it anymore because remember that conversation I told you about, the long one we keep having? Mm-hmm. And when we're not having that, we have the television on, and that's the noise that blocks out everything else. So we never listen to the sounds of silence. But if we do that, if we practice every day, not a long time, just for a few minutes every day, we get into a place where we breathe deeply, sit quietly, and say, I'm going to just let my thoughts run wherever they will, and I won't watch them, and I won't answer myself. You will find after a while that these abilities become heightened. And then if you want, you can train yourself to feel, maybe not hear what other people are thinking, because I remember meeting, remember our friend Butch James?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Butch had a big party in the Rainbow Room in New York, and I was invited to be one of his honored guests, for which I was honored. I was happy to be there. But the word had gotten around that this guy, Butch's friend, was going to come here. And somehow they thought I knew their thoughts. So everybody is quiet when I'm introduced, and whenever they met me, they'd hardly say anything. And I asked Butch, I said, what's the matter with your people? He had all his employees there, many of them and their families. And he says, the thing is, John, they think that you know what they're thinking. And I thought, no, I don't even know what I am thinking. And if I were to know what everybody is thinking, I'd go nuts because I wouldn't be able to handle it. So it's something like any other skill that we can develop. Anyone can develop it. The requirements are very few. You have to have a warm body, an IQ of greater than maybe 30, and stuff like that. But anyone could develop it because it's a natural thing, a natural gift we all have. Feeling auras, feeling people's thoughts. As as they affect us, we do not violate anybody's privacy because, again, that's not necessary. It's
right. I was going to say, I know in business many times when I'm doing a deal with somebody or I'm deciding on which project I want to do next, the times when I've listened to my gut instinct, and everyone talks about that gut, and it seems like that feeling comes from somewhere within your gut region, but it's that intuition, and I rely on that gut instinct because I know when I'm doing something that is going to work and when it's not going to work, and sometimes when I've decided, well, yeah, this person, I'm sure that they'll work out, or I'm sure this deal will work out, or this project will work out, even though I knew from a gut feeling that it wouldn't. It's always been that way.
And whenever you go against that feeling, you find it doesn't work. Now, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't use analysis and we shouldn't use logic and so forth. Sure, that's important. That's part of the preparation. You get the data and so forth, and then you step back and you listen or feel for what you just call the gut feeling. And when you get that, you will know when you have a hit. You will have a feeling of wellness, of being okay, a kind of an excitement about it. This will work. It's like the universe saying to you, okay, here are 5 paths. Do business with this guy this way or not, and do this one or don't do it. And you will feel, I should talk to Mr. X. That's the one I have to do this with. And then your voice will come in now and say, oh, no, he doesn't know anything. I can't do anything with him. I don't want a joint venture with him. And then you put it away, and then you're sleeping. Or like I remember the story about you creating instant
sales letters.
Sales letters where you jumped up at 3 or so in the morning. It'll come like that to you all of a sudden. Where does it come from? It comes from the dream fairy, the walk fairy, the quiet fairy, and it comes all the time. People say generally opportunity knocks once. I disagree. Opportunity knocks all the time. We just don't listen.
Right, and I think if the more times you listen, I think it grows more distinct, that knocking, and louder. And then as you don't listen to it, I think it grows fainter and fainter.
Absolutely. It never goes away. You just block it out. And you being a new father, having the little prince as a son, you might remember in the early days, if you check carefully, you will notice that maybe these days, no matter how tight you're sleeping, how soundly asleep you are, if there's a little sound from him, you might wake up. Now, there were times when that wouldn't bother you at all. And so it is with us. If we don't listen and encourage the voice, it won't be there. It won't go away. It will just go in a little corner, and it'll say, okay, I'll wait for John. When he's ready for me, I'll be there like I've always been through the centuries, through the millennia, through everlasting.